Hey, we're on live. We're here. Uh, Happy, what they call that? The spring break. So what's going on out there? The TV land. What's going on? We're getting ready for our men's round table, and we're happy to have you all on here with us tonight. Television ready, station number 8, and we will be in different numbers throughout the different cities of cities of states will be in different locations. So listen, be tuned, stay tuned. We'll be on your regular TVs as well as your apps. We're already in advance on our television network. So new shows, new everything will come out and bust out during that time, and we're ready. We're ready. I am excited. I'm excited, and our TV again, our TV station is number 8 in the state of Texas, and that would trickle as well as time go by through the different formats of all of that, and then some. And so we're excited for that. And so it's spring break time. So here is what we're preparing to do. We are preparing to proceed, as one would say, proceed in our endeavor to become more aggressive with this talk show tonight. Tonight talk show is going to be very, very strong. Why? What sex is to a man? We got different types of sex behavior, different types of sex situation. People like it, different types of sex, and we're certainly aggressive when it comes to that tonight. And we are most definitely going to deal with that conversation tonight. I'm baffling. I'm tired. Dr. Stevens has made his arrival, and good to see him on here. And as time progresses, Dr. Boyd will chime in, I'm assuming. But we want to deal with that talk about sex tonight because sex is being blown out of proportion. And nowadays, sex is being used as a weapon against a man and against a woman, or withhold and withdraw. Now, sex is originally designed for marriage, but look like we just stepped into a Playboy network, and we're moving to that area and arena as we sex gods now. So I'm baffling, but I want to get off into that and move toward that and talk about sex. Sex is a place where we have, as men, have just vomit our seeds everywhere. We're giving our seeds to the ground. We're giving our seeds to the sheets on the bed and on the wall. I remember when I was growing up, we used to hear this song called "All Ski Ski," and you know the rest if you ever heard of it. And it's pretty rough. And then I remember, what's his name? The nasty rapper. I can't think of his name. Not Flavor Flav, but he was a nasty rapper. I mean, I know Dr. Stevenson. I know you know what I'm talking about. He don't want to tell me though, but uh, he was a
My
nasty.
hands are up.
he
So,
was he was a nasty rap. I'm trying to think of his name.
hey, watch this. One thing, what will help us out is if you give us a hint in terms of the year.
Oh, all right. This was back in the mid '80s when
Or well,
it
you
came
might be
out.
talking about Two Live Crew
No, I ain't talking about no Two Live Crew.
or Too
Hey,
Short.
well, the Too Short. That's
It
his
was either
name.
Too Short or Two Live Crew. I'm just saying in terms of the era.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I hope
My big brother used to love Two Live Crew. I mean, Too Short.
yeah, yeah. that Too Short used to call them nasty. And if you remember that song, it was Ruthless. And so what I want to get at tonight.
Oh yeah, it's on. He got the hat on. He got the hat on.
He got that it's the beach time hat. You know what? It's time to go to the beach. The what they call it, spring break. He on his spring break.
Hey fam.
So
yes, indeed.
I want to deal with this tonight. What sex is to a man? We're wasting our seeds more than anything. That's number one. We're giving our seeds to the unfit one that should have it. Sex has become so outrageous until it is hardcore. If it ain't hardcore, we're dismissed, dismissed, and dismantling it. If she can't give us this, we can't get that. Time to move on and get the next one to do what we want. So, what is sex to a man? And what should we do to try to help our younger generation understand what is the right way and the wrong way of this matter?
Wow. Now you know Dr. Stephen has hands down great commentary for this, because when he first started getting on the show, he addressed it. A lot of this subject real good. And but let me put my 2 cents in as much as possible. First of all, and I'm just saying, keep it real, sex was never designed to be for pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not a tool to control an individual. It is not, and I think what it is, we have perverted it so bad until people don't know what the true essence of having sex with. And sex was never designed for us to explore many different partners.
Yeah.
And it was definitely not used for sports. Now it's sad, and I listen to some of these rap music that it's such perversion in it now, until women and young men only see sex as a form of some type of lifestyle, you know. And that, you know, I can't talk because I know I used sex when I was in it, once I learned how, because most of us didn't. Coming up in my age, we wasn't taught about sex. We had to experiment it. And then if you get the right one to teach you, you can come up in the hood, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But so sex became a way of possessing a woman.
Mm-hmm.
And I figured once I had sex with you, I own you now. And
he said he owned it. What you said? That pimp stuff there.
I tried to brand it to make sure that my brand sticks. That makes it hard for another man to unbrand it. But that's what I accumulated about the definition and how I use sex from my own expertise and what I liked and what I wanted to do. And then it was my trophies for my homeboys, you know. is to get as many knots on my belt as they have on theirs. So,
Right.
uh, I don't think, and because of that cockiness and arrogance of me, I know I can say all that, but at the end of the day, the results speak for itself because I ain't got nothing to show for it. But
Right.
but the arrogance of me thinking about sex like that, I never was to the point, never let a woman control me with it, And I feel sorry for guys that did get caught in that trap, you know.
Yeah, I feel sorry for him.
But
God be a man. God
that,
be a man.
it's a bad boy when you get trapped. And I'm not gonna say I didn't have. Sometimes I got emotionally attached to the person through sex, but when I learned the hard way, and because it wasn't being taught, it was always assumed in my era that you just know. But I never was taught about a lot of stuff I learned about sex was in my 40s and what God
Right.
intended for it was. So, and it changed my perspective. But one of the things that really caused me to change my perspective about sex is the fact that when you have sex with them, you become tied to them. So
Yeah.
certain relationships that I was bound in them long than I wanted to stay because not because of the sex, because of the performance of sex, but it was hard for me. I was fighting for them like I was fighting for my wife. I was fighting for them like they was my wife when they wouldn't. And so,
Yeah. Now you got a lot of that happening too. Yeah.
And then it made and sex perverted my judgment. So if it was a one night stand, it ended up being longer than that because I got tied to them through sex. So I couldn't break off the relationship. I got to the point where I got cold hearted and I could break off relationship, but I had to do so much damage to me to get to that level. So it's either, and it got to the point that sex was never about romance. It became a tool. It became my tool that I use. So it was never to the point of love making. It was all about wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, So, but I can't recall other than with my baby mama, and that was because she was, at that time, I believe she was having my child, that I ever just stuck with a relationship with a girl, with a woman because of sex. So when they get down to this subject about women controlling men with sex, I can't even talk on that subject because that just wasn't. I wasn't a part of that type of group. All the guys that we was pretty much the dominant force in that area. So we was basically getting sex to get a woman's paycheck. That's just paying for the next round of beer, stuff like that, man. Hey, we at that time it seemed like it was really going on. You get over that, man, and shoot. And I used to get the check and then say, hey, pay your bills. Me and my boy gonna go hang. He go to his girl house, same thing. But and when we needed money, that's what we went. We went and hit it up and shoot, got them few dollars and shoot, we back on the road, man. They kept the Nova moving. So, man. So I like I said, that was my expertise and experience with sex, but it cost me. It cost me heavily because when they was gone, guess what? All my resources was gone at that moment. So I caught a lot of hell behind. So that's my view, and I think we really need to look into why sex, to first of all, unperverted, sanctify it back to what God's original purpose for that sex. And that's the reason why, and I'm going to close, that's the reason why most of these relationships in marriage it's complicated because number one, you got too many people tied up in you. You can never see the person that you're with because you're too busy looking at them
messed up with the
past experiences. So when you see something when you see someone they do something, what pops up in your head, what window pop up in your head is what happened to you last time. But if you had the chance to go through a woman with just one woman, you wouldn't have to compare your sex life with somebody else or your relationship with nobody else. All you know is that person. So it makes sex very complicated if you did not abstain yourself. And I learned from Dr. Stephen, giving up your strength. Well, we don't have no tolerance with women, But I'm gonna say me. I never had no tolerance for women. It's like after a 2-year span, man, that was the wrap. That was it. I'm moving on to the next. I hit it about 2 years. I done got bored with it. So, but
my,
so it's that's my world. When I was introduced to it, that's how I practice. That's what I use. But now, in my old, I can't perform like I used to. When I started doing it God's way and started using wisdom, man, it was almost like starting all over again. I was so green. I mean, man, I still don't see myself as being, mastering, because again, life done caught up with me on that. But when I start to do it the right way and try to be intimate, and now I have to, I don't use images to try to get off with I'm going too deep, but anyway, I don't use other people and other scenes and other things to try to use that as a motivation for me to have intercourse with my wife. I focus, my focus and attention is truly upon her. It takes a lot of discipline, because I can't keep putting images in my head that's going to damage that effect, because then if I put images of other things and other images in my head, it's going to affect our relationship, because I'm not really having intercourse with her. I'm fascinating myself with what I have downloaded in my head that I like to see and try and all that kind of stuff like that. So
right.
All right, I'm done 17 minutes on this.
He count, dog. He over there count. Count a man there, count, man. Come on with it, Dr. Steve. Let's see where you at with.
Hey, listen, before we stir this gumbo up, I gotta make sure that it's not gonna bubble over the top. But if it happens to bubble, let me inform you of this. First of all, I'm not going to be subjective. It's not based upon my personal experience. It's not based upon my personal experience. And what is so disheartening is that there are so many brothers that will earmark their personal success stories. Now, I've had a lot of personal success stories. And every woman I've ever dealt with in my life, I'm not going to say all women are horrible. I'm not going to say all women are great. I'm not going to say all men are horrible. I'm not going to say all men are great. But what I will say is that everyone has the opportunity to consent, and everyone has the opportunity to choose. And fair exchange is not robbery. And just because men have a drive, a man has a drive, we have a drive. She doesn't have the same type of drive that a man has. What she needs from a man is not the same thing you need from her as a woman. She is a different species in a sense of her internal wiring, the same way yours is. And I think what is sometimes unbeneficial is that men brag on themselves so much, as if we've done something that was so amazing. And I think that if we destroy the hubris and the ego investment it will minimize how we mishandle certain things. And along with that, we would give a different type of requirement and expectation, because the harsh reality is you didn't win anything because you gained access to some ice cream. That's what I'm gonna call it. You didn't gain anything. I've never heard. Now, that's okay. Don't look at me in that tone of voice. But
just I'm looking. I want
yeah, because I'm gonna drop
it. You just blew up what I just said. But look, I want to see where you go with this.
I'm going down that street. I'm going down that street. I've never heard a man say, it was because of this ice cream I got a promotion on my job. It's because of this ice cream I was able to accumulate this property. It was because of this ice cream I was able to close this deal. It's because of this ice cream that I was able to finish my education. It wasn't because of the ice cream. So let me inform you of this, brothers. If you take away the ice cream, how valuable and what will she add to your life? What do you imagine? What is your idea when you think of procreation? When you think of reproduction, what are some of the things that you expect? And I think it is so disheartening and so disconcerting that men have the worst requirements, men have the worst expectations, as long as that desire is sufficed. And so what so many brothers will not acknowledge, okay, you were fortunate. One brother may not have had to purchase the meal. One brother may not have had to take her out. One brother may not have had to give any requirements that she would typically give to Joe Blow. She gave Joe Blow those requirements. I know, because there are a lot of brothers that are Joe Blow, and see, the Joe Blow will blow your brains out. See, the Joe Blow will blow Bubba's brains out because Bubba is getting the ice cream. Bubba's sticking his chest out because he's not taking her out to get the ice cream. He's not spending his money to get the ice cream. He's not trying to do anything to show that he's invested in her. He is not doing anything that will expose that he's a good man. Bubba is like, hey, I know what you like. You like the ice cream I'm presenting, so this is how we gonna move. So she's willing to make the necessary accommodations, but yet at the same time, her requirements to give the ice cream to Joe Blow are not the same requirements that she has for Bubba. Now, this is why men need to take their ego out of this stuff. You think that you're the one using. That's fair exchange. That's the first thing I want to identify. You think she's giving you something so inappropriate, so inaccurate, so outside of biology, so outside of scripture, so outside of it until we mismanage the entire concept. She's not giving me anything in that regard.
So what I say I was getting. So what I was getting in, when I said when I was getting money and getting all that, you said I wasn't getting anything?
Can I finish?
That was a delusion? That was a delusion?
I'm only 3 minutes.
You walk down the street, gangster. You walk down the street. I want to hear what you got to say.
I wasn't getting nothing. To finish my statement. I said, chilling 17 minutes. I didn't say nothing. I listened.
I know. I want you to elaborate on points you make.
I'm trying to finish. I guarantee you, I'm going to put a period right here. When I said that that she's not giving you anything.
Right.
In the act, during the act of ice cream, because I'm not going to use that word because that's my metaphor.
Right.
During the act of ice cream, no matter how you splice it, no matter how you turn it, she is the receiver. You are the giver. The Bible says that the Bible says that he gives seed to sower. She don't have seed. She has eggs. She has ground. you give seed. Now, along with giving that seed, you also have to give your strength. Now, here is the challenge. All of the other masculine qualities that should go along with that, you refrain from. The other masculine qualities, reproduction is a part of those masculine components that God gave us as men. And it is to aid her, and it is to continue the human race. However, there are other masculine components, such as a man's ability to solve a problem. So his problem solving skill, she didn't get that. His protection, and before anyone look at me in that tone of voice, when I say protection, I'm not talking about him being your personal pit bull, because sometimes that man's protection consists of, say, baby, hey, they about to start turning up. I'm walking to the car. Let's go. And she's staying there and she want to be nosy, then she is out of line, and you can't offer protection to who cannot receive your direction. Bottom line. That's just bottom line. Now, those components have been refrained. Those other components that consist of the other qualities that we have outside of our reproduction. And so we get caught up on the accumulation of women because we understand that the requirement for women to get men is a totally different requirement for men that will be attractive to women. Mm-hmm. A man can be attracted to a woman who works at Burger King. She flipped burgers. She has a GED. She's going back to school to study something. She's 28, 30. She may live at home with her mama at 35 years old. She lives at home with her mama at 35. She's got 2 kids. She's struggling. But guess what she is? She's beautiful. She's nice. Cool. A brother would look at her and say, man, she's beautiful. If a man is going to be attractive on a generalized level, he's got to build himself to a place of attraction.
True.
Outside of his physicality. So that's what I mean by we brag on it and not even identifying that. Listen, that component that I gave her, I now gave her. Not only did I give her my strength according to the mystery, according to the scriptures, I've made myself no longer mysterious. I've taken away my own mystery and I make myself common, because she doesn't identify that to be with me, there is a reward component. Because you don't just get the procreation, you also get the problem solving. You also get the farsight, not just my insight. You get my farsight. You get what I intend to do in terms of what can I present that's going to make us better. And see, the reason why men will sometimes get minimized, and we will hear some of the dumbest things being earmarked, such as, man, I can't believe she even wanted me like this because she out of my league. She was completely out of my league. In order for you to voice those sentiments in your subconscious, you've already stated that she is superior to me.
That's it.
So how can equality? No, hold on. What? No, but out of my league. How can anyone be out of anyone's league if we are all in the human race and we stand on the brinks of equality?
What if you put it on the biblical standard, but when you come down to social, nobody's gonna think that's not gonna be the first thought that hit your head when you look at it as a human race. You're absolutely right. There are certain principles that will not change and are consistent the same. But sociology, when you get down to sociology, those principles are not looked at that like that. So I never felt like, I know this, and I will talk about old woman. A woman wants what she wants. So I don't have to be socially, I don't have to try to appeal to her, attract her, or whatever. If she's attracted to me, it is what it is.
Now, watch this. What about now here is the question. What happens to the men that she's not attracted to? Do she refrain from allowing those men from taking her to dinner, Do she refrain from accepting gifts from those men? Does she reject the opportunity to go on various trips with those men? Does she reject the opportunity to get her child some Jordans or maybe some school clothes? Does she reject the opportunity to get various parts of her house
If she's a
renovated and remodeled?
professional woman, yes,
Oh,
she will reject them.
okay.
But if she's from the hood, no,
Hold
she
on.
ain't finna reject.
Listen, and I gotta call the carpet on this because morality, women, I need your help, women, because I'm about to drive down your street and help you, because I'm built for this. Morality in a woman or a man, that is uncomfortable. Morality as it relates to a woman or a man is not based upon their career. It is not based upon their bank statement. Her morality and her character has nothing to do with where she lives. It has something to do with her own personal convictions, because there's some young ladies that's not going to, I don't care how much money you have, she's not going to roll. I don't care if you 50 Cent. I don't care if you LL Cool J. I don't care if you're some famous actor. She's not going to go there because that's outside of her character. Right. Now, there are some that may say, I'm not going to lower my standard. And if that is, and sometimes when that is being voiced, if someone comes along with the right amount of money, with the right amount of status, with the right amount of swag, those requirements that she gave to that brother don't get those requirements because you said it yourself, because she wants him. So should you have the opportunity to be the victim when it's what you want?
Well, I think now, I think, and this is not, I'm just using the word think in the place of conversating. I think that marriage now in the eyes of our youth, younger generation, and in some of our views is what you call legal prostitution now. I think that most of us, and again, I want to use that word think very loosely, that most people are entangled with one another for a benefit or a necessary. And when that happens, prostitution moves in a marriage. The minute you lose your job, can't provide, she gone. The minute she cannot cook you something to eat, you out of there. Because you're going to go to the next person for that. Sometimes in great positions, sex overruled quite a bit. She got quality sex. You don't care if she can cook or not.
And you know what? You know what is sad? Can I don't want to go here. But ice cream, when, and I'm going to say this metaphorically because I don't want to be distasteful, but due to the nature of our dialogue, I think it is imperative that we peel as many layers back. Based upon the descriptions, I'm going to preface this with, last week we were talking about certain young women that lived a certain lifestyle and in adult entertainment. What you said last week was, man, you're too familiar with that. What you know? How you know so much about that? Now,
yeah, because I don't know about that book. I don't know about that book.
Yeah, you know about that.
Here is my comma. This is the comma. If there are so many different aspects to this ice cream packaging, and you can give detailed descriptions. If he's not like this, if he's not like this, if I need this kind of ice cream scoop, I need this kind of ice cream scoop. I need this kind of ice cream scoop. Well, now I need this kind of ice cream scoop. See, this is the thing. Men and women can commit the same sexual immorality, but how we are built and the reaction and the response and how it affects everyone varies. You can do the same thing, but that doesn't mean you're going to get the same outcome. With that in mind, if you have all of these ice cream expectations and ice cream ideas and ice cream scoop analysis, is because you've seen a lot of ice cream scoops. It's because you've had a lot of ice cream experiences. And how dare anyone think that all of these experiences. Now, this is the thing that is interesting. When women began to say this, men do it and men have always done it. Men do this and they've always done it. A man do all of these things and he's still Mr. Bubba. If a lady does it, she's a harlot. Well, let me tell you, both of Mr. Bubba and the lady that's the harlot, both of them have exercised a lack of ice cream discipline. But here is the challenge, and we don't like to accept it. The Bible says first natural, then spiritual. Here is the natural idea. Most men naturally will be uncomfortable if you take your lady out, you take your wife out, you take your fiance out, you take your significant other out. And while you taking her out, one guy comes up to her, "Hey, Susan, how you know? You know him? Yeah, I know him. We go way back." And you got Tommy. "Hey, Susan, so good, girl. What you up to? It's so good to see you." Now we may say, "Oh, that's nothing. You're just insecure." But here is the challenge: those guys that are coming up, they are not coming up because the lack of connection she had to them. They are coming up because they know that, listen, when I was involved with her, I knew how much of her I grabbed. I knew how much of her I grabbed. I knew how much she invested into me. You think you talking about, okay, some brothers get caught up in, oh, you got the ice cream and she bought you some shoes. But watch this. I don't want to hear anything about ice cream or little trinkets. This is when the quality of the interaction between men and women, this will determine the quality of the interaction instead of bragging and we are building our hubris on this superficial craziness. I'm talking about brothers. Listen, brother, ask yourself, with the vision I have for my life, because I'm not talking about the vision you have for her and with her, the vision I have for my life. Right. Is she willing to invest in the process of my progress? Because most men are simply trying to spend money and be impressive so they can have a chance to get some ice cream. Look, bro, put your energy, your effort, and your finances in the purpose that God has given you. Ice cream gonna be here if you're broke. Ice cream gonna be here if you got money. And so that is the reality. I think since I'm talking to men, we've got to take the hubris and the ego investment out of stupidity. And here is the last thing I want to acknowledge. If she say, "Oh, this is what men have always done. Men run around, men do this, men do that." So the act that you most despise is the act and characteristic you are most at liberty to do because inwardly you wanted to do it without social pressure and social shame. And if that is the case, then that was the question concerning that person's character. Because this man is doing this and it's a representation of his character. Should your character be a reflection of someone else's and you call yourself an independent thinking agent? So that's, if we're saying it starts with us, listen, brother, accept the fact that when you are involved or you are pursuing her for this intimate, exclusive, marital, covenantal relationship, do you trust her? Number one, if you can't trust her with your money, you sure better not think you can trust her with your seed.
You better believe it. You better believe that part.
Because here's the last part. Listen, brother, but listen, before you get a wife, get you a life. Before you get you a wife, build you a life.
That's right.
Before you get you a spouse, you make sure you're not living with her, you live in your house.
That's right.
There's nothing wrong with that. See, that takes a lot of it out. You reserve your seed. Reserve your seed. Don't reserve. Listen, baby mama drama has hurt more brothers. Baby mama drama and brothers getting killed over ice cream has destroyed more brothers than the Gulf and Persian War. Than the Gulf and Persian War. That has destroyed more brothers. More brothers. So, okay, look, man, nah, she don't, because watch this. If we start saying this and we start expressing this, then guess what? Oh, he's arrogant. He's a narcissist. He's this. Because now what do you have to go on? If the men say, look, we're not going to make you baby mamas. What are you working on? You ain't got time for me. You ain't got, no, I can't. I don't have time for that because I'm building my life. I got to go to football practice. I'm building my life. I got to go to trade school. I'm building my life. I'm working to become an electrician and be a journeyman. I'm building my life to become a master plumber. Because now, once he builds his life to a certain degree, everything changes in terms of the market, in terms of the interaction, because this is one thing that he has shown. He has shown that, listen, baby, I can manage my life.
Right.
I can manage. This is what I built. This is what I built concerning my life. With the grace of God, this is what I was able to construct. We have this mindset that so many men have that I need to get me a good woman, and then I'm gonna move in purpose. No, that's not how it works.
That ain't how that works.
You build your life. You build.
Men have done. And most men, that's why we have these hurt men talking about women getting out their life. You know, they bring the woman into the garden. Amen. And then, you know, and then the first thing they talk about, well, she took this from me. She left me. She all this. Well, you would got the woman. Matter of fact, you don't even have a garden. You think and I used to think that. Get the woman first and then get your garden. And then we'll build that together. That ain't how that thing works. It ain't. It's absolutely not. And that's the reason why so many men are damaged and they are hurt because they went. And then the ones that did, and I don't know how everybody get their game or how they'll succeed in life or whatever. But like you said, I totally agree with that statement. You know, my standards, if I got a garden, my standards are a lot higher who I allow in my garden. You're going to need more than a cut to get up in my garden. That's just the bottom line.
Now,
and I'm not going to appeal to the first, and I'm talking about when I reach that level of maturity. Because at the end of the day, you said something else. Without a vision, the Bible says the people perish. When you got a vision of what you're going to be and what you're aiming at, as you stated, then it's only so many. That's when you're trying to find the virtuous woman. I wasn't interested in exploiting when I went through that year and about 2 years singleness between my second marriage and the marriage that I'm in now. In that time, I remained celibate because I did not want nobody to pervert my judgment. And then number two, I lived a lonely life because at that very moment, you realize at that time, and I'm with Van Winkle, that a lot of the women, even the ones that did have it going on, wasn't there mentally. You know, they had a lot of issues going on. So when you look at the ideal of what you think you want into a person, you know, it really takes you praying and just waiting on God. And in other words, the more you discover about yourself, the more you will see her. And when I saw my wife, I began to see that she began to complement a lot of things that fit her attitude, her character, everything just synced into where I was going and what we're going to do. And we have been doing good for the last 10 years. So we had our ups and we down, but most of that, but I cheat the game because I've been married twice. But had I had this kind of focus before, I wouldn't have been no 3-time loser. I mean, no 2-time loser. I was just exploring with, and see, this is the thing. And let's not play, don't look at me in that tone of voice. Half this stuff wasn't being taught. Half this stuff what you're saying right now was not taught in our churches and not taught in our communities, nor what I mean. Now, maybe your dad set you down and explained this to you. Maybe you took classes on it, but some of this stuff was not privileged information. And this sounds like Greek coming to somebody who never got themselves together when they was thinking they got themselves together. And then we come up with a concept like with the truth, what you just shared, and some great principles. That seems like that goes well above some men's head right there, because they never thought that. Now, and I'm going to say this, and I'm going to make my little sarcastic moment and let you come back. If I had aimed at a house, I would have got a house with my ice cream. I was just shooting too low. I was just trying to get a slick malt liquor bull and hang in my car and get that. So I didn't shoot for the business and all like that. But I do believe this, and you said take your ego out. Well, I keep mine in. If that's what I want the moon, then suit up.
Hey, and that's what's up. That's what's up. I'm just trying to make sure. I just try to make sure that we keep in mind as we're talking about ice cream, the lack thereof, the lack of discipline concerning it. And all these things. Don't get it twisted. The greatest men, you want to know, man, the most influential component in physical form on earth is a woman. I said influential because, but this is the thing, and this is a part of the double standard that is horrible, and there is no fairness. There's no such thing as equality. A woman can take advantage of a man, and some men have been taken advantage of. I mean, I'm
Let's
sorry.
put bar on there. An immature man. Let's put immature man.
Well, I can't agree with that. This is why I can't agree with that.
Why?
I can't agree with that because Samson was not an immature man. He was a judge.
Yes, he was.
No, he was not. He was a judge.
Yes, he was.
Samson was a judge.
Yeah, and a fool. He was womanizing. Come on here, man.
Can I? All right. Tell me more.
He never did live up to his vows. He never lived up to the way he raised. It only came in reality in his death. But before then, he didn't honor his vows the way his parents raised him.
Okay. Now, this is why I said he was not immature. He had a lustful desire that he responded to. He was not an immature boy, because that's what some people want to go see. That's what a boy would do. Samson was a judge, and he fell off way before he met Delilah. We know this. He showed a lack of discipline before he met Delilah.
Oh, how you gonna call him mature? How you gonna call him mature when you put lack of discipline in there? Make that right.
All right, I sure will. I sure will. He was a judge. I'm going to say
it again.
Hold on.
He was called from the mother's womb. He didn't get that because he was good. He was appointed that from the womb. So that don't make him be all that.
Hold on. You're going to tell me that he was not capable in certain areas, but didn't have discipline in other areas? That sounds confusing. Let me finish.
You named me how.
I'm going to tell you because
up until he came to Delilah, when did he ever serve as a judge? He only used his power to his own personal interest. That's the only time. He only tied some foxtails up because somebody slept with his woman. He wasn't doing nothing for the people. Come on now. Read your Bible. I studied Samson. That's how I learned a lot.
I'm saying that he was not ignorant. He was not unlearned. He was not a person that did not identify judgment. He lacked discipline. And I'm not going to say he was just a boy. He was a judge. The same way Deborah was a judge. The same way the same way other judges were selected. God didn't select him because he was perfect. God selected him because it was his sovereignty and he made a choice to select him. The point that I was making is we have Samson, we also have David, we also had the wisest man in the world, the wisest man in the world by the name of Solomon. And what drove his heart from God, what influenced him to the point that he would dismiss his affectionate connection to God was a woman, were women. He built idol gods and connected to their worship. He did that to appease. He did that to appease. If that's not enough, Adam, he did what he did, not because he was told that he was going to be God. Eve was told that you will be God, according to Genesis. But guess what he did? Can I finish?
You make it sound like a punk.
Can I finish? No, I'm not. I'm not making it sound like. Hold on. Let me. I'm making it sound like what it was. I'm making it sound.
So
let me. Listen.
On Facebook Live on stream.
Let it east. What happened with Adam? Adam, the Bible says that
he
Adam
slipped and fell. That's all.
He took and ate with his wife, who was with her. He took and ate while he was with her. She was supposed to be with him. He was the one that was given the charge. The world, watch this, humanity did not plummet into eternal condemnation because of Eve. It plummeted because of leadership. And that's the point that I'm making. The ability to influence. He took and ate with her. He was wrong because he had the authority that he didn't use. And most men don't use the authority because whenever we speak in terms of authority, we have those who have been abusive before. But guess what? Can I tell you something? Men that understand what it means to lead, what it means to exercise authority, it's not authority when you have to raise your voice, clown, and holler, and cuss, and put your hands on people and do all. That's not authority. Authority is exercised because I have the authorization. And through that authorization, I can accept that I'm listening. And everyone is going to have their say. But at the end of your say, I've got to tread a path forward and make a decision, because I can't even think about me in that decision. I've got to think about you. I've got to ensure everything that's connected to my name. And so when that is being heard, that's when you begin to experience the contention. I'm gonna use this as an example. I was at a service a couple of weeks ago, and I was asking some young ladies. I say, "How's college?" "Oh, doc, it's kind of rough." "What do you mean?" "Tuition has gone up, books have gone up," and this is what the young lady said. Two of the young ladies. "I need me a sugar daddy."
Wow.
I said, "You need a what?" "I need a sugar daddy. This stuff is so expensive." And I said, "Now look, young lady, it would have been more befitting if you said, 'I need a husband,' because that implies and indicates that I want to add to a man's life. I want to show that I can be an asset. I want to show that I can rear children. I want to show that I can complement and cooperate. I want to show that I can love my man." No, that's not what she said. She said, when she said sugar daddy, can I give you all the undertones? She said that there is always a man that's willing to spend some money to get what I was born with. He'll take what he had to extend himself and obtained outside of himself, and he's willing to give it away because what I was born with is so precious. This ice cream is so precious. It's like gold. And I said to her, I said, you want a sugar daddy? You do know what sugar daddies want.
You bring her on the show.
Oh no. She said, no. And that's that's the thing. And That's the harsh reality. There are men, and I'm gonna break this. Let me peel this on your back. And I got 3 minutes. I got 2 minutes. I guarantee I'm gonna work my 2 minutes. You have some men that are sugar daddies for the ice cream. And here is the challenge. The reason why you have some of these brothers going crazy, they snapping, they blowing stuff up, they going bananas because they have invested this, they've invested money. See, so many of these brothers that sound like they're repeating what some other woman just said to them. Well, men don't do this, men don't do this. No, the men that you desire don't do that because they don't have to. The men you don't really desire, they're going to take you out. They're going to do everything they can to be impressive. They're going to do everything they can to show you their best foot. They're going to do everything they can to do all of those type of things. Now, guess what? He, in his mind, he is not seeing the return on his investment. And that's okay. But this is what messes him up. When he look over there and see Bubba, that extra plate of food that he purchased, and he purchased an extra plate of food at that restaurant because you said you wanted to bring something home to your son. That plate wasn't for your son. That plate wasn't for her son. That plate was for Bubba. And Bubba came through. Bubba reaped those benefits. Bubba got that ice cream. You paid for the meal. That's cool. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that because Bubba, and then when the dude that spent all his money, when he started coming and he started identifying, man, she like this, she don't even like me like man, and he started seeing that she give more attention. Now she's beginning to give more attention to Bubba because money can't keep a woman if she don't want you.
That's right.
Money cannot keep a woman if she don't want you. And let me put this here because I'm tired of brothers saying this, and I don't want women to say this either. If that man didn't break you, that man can't build you because he won't even know where to begin building. The man that broke you, that's the man that should have built you.
That's right.
And sometimes a lady will select that man that she thinks she can build. And instead of building him, he breaks you. But it was something she enjoyed. What did she enjoy about Bubba? Because Bubba may not have a job because Bubba ain't taking ID. What did she enjoy about Bubba? See, you talking about all that. No, she enjoyed what she was getting out of Bubba. But then her feminine essence started desiring more than reproduction. Her feminine essence started desiring more than just ice cream. But she's still gonna keep the ice cream from Bubba. But guess what? She might be able to get some different masculine input from Bobby. Because Bobby, she can talk to. She talking to Bobby. She can get some of Bobby's insight. Maybe, that sounds good. She may be able to get John. John just take her out to dinner. And we may not see all of this. This entire circle is nothing more than circles of manipulation. Circles of manipulation. Now, it's just as bad. And you said earlier, Pastor Mark, that listen, sometimes they try to use it to wield over you. How can she wield something over you? How can something be wielded over you when you have discipline in that area? Most of us don't even want to have discipline in that area. Yeah, that is a challenge. God gave you that urge and desire for her. Now you got to take your body and say, how am I going to discipline my body? Because she knows that once you get locked in, you a genie.
That's it.
You a genie. You listen. You won't do nothing. You'll do everything you can, and you will be. And brothers will be led to think that it's love. It's not love. You enjoy that ice cream so well until you let other things pass. But let me tell you this: whatever you do enough of, you get good at it.
That's true. Well, this is an interesting subject because we still didn't get off to what sex is to a man. We touched, we got off into it, but
He just gave the 21
I don't
flavors
know.
of ice cream.
I know.
Hey, we try. Hey, my goal is to tell brothers, say, bro, don't do it. Chill. It's not. A man is not a homosexual if he chooses to abstain. A man is not lame if he chooses to abstain. He's not any of those things. He's not. He don't understand when he abstains, his appeal grows. Why? Because his focus won't be dwindled.
Gosh.
A focus, man. You man. Do you know what's more powerful than anything? You know what is most celebrated by women? You think sometimes these women will become strippers and things of that sort? Do you think they're simply doing it for the money? You think they on Instagram just for the money? You think they on Facebook twerking? But man, do you know how much attention they are gaining? Do you know there are some women that just have to put on a tight dress and walk, and she is going to receive money from TikTok? She's gonna get money from Instagram. That's who's giving her all those views. Men. We do that.
They pretend like they mean.
I'm telling brothers.
Wait a minute, what you say, boy? What you say?
Where you trying to go?
They women, they just pretending like they mean.
Hey, it gets real.
Times will change, boy.
Hey, listen. You got now. Here is the next thing. Here is the last thing. Where are these men? And I'm scared of men that say, "Oh, my game, I don't know what that is, or my wisdom, or my life skills came from a woman." What are you saying?
Yeah, I'm kind of a little worried about
that's scary to me because that means you're only looking at life from this position, and you need both optimism and pessimism. You need both aspects. The optimistic person builds the airplane. The pessimistic person is going to build the parachute. You need the airplane and the parachute built. You need some masculine input and you need some feminine input in terms of knowledge and learning various aspects. But when a man will say, all my life skills, my game, my wisdom came from women, then you missed out on what righteousness could have been. Because right is what's right. Wisdom comes from God, and who he uses to deposit is what your ear should be inclined to. But if you don't have an ear for men, because you have been conditioned and someone told you that to be listened to, that men are by nature evil, well, y'all interesting. That's funny to me because you've been taught to hate men. You was taught to hate your dad. Yeah. You were taught, so many men have been convinced to think that because she's attractive and you may desire her, or she may desire you, you're evil. You're thirsty. You lame. No. Obtain that discipline, man. It gets real in these streets. Yep. And fair exchange is not robbery. It's fair exchange. It's not robbery. If he's wrong, she's just as wrong. True. If she's wrong, he's just as wrong. If fair exchange is no robbery. Because can I tell you something? A woman can make you think like you're the greatest person in the world. Ooh, I ain't never been with nobody. Ooh, your ice cream. Ooh, your ice. Whoa, your ice cream.
I got the cream to go with it.
And guess what? Your ego gets so big.
You done right.
And you know what she does? And guess what?
My ego go out the roof.
Watch this. Guess what? Guess what that was for? Here you go, baby. Ooh, I think wouldn't my living room look better with a new living room set?
You got the wrong one.
But no, because guess what? Can I tell you? Can I get buck? The one that got my friend like y'all have good. Hold on. The one that got them skills, the one that got the skills, she don't ask. You off. Because you want
I
her to
ain't
keep
never met her
exercising
yet.
her skill set.
Well, my wife probably do it now. Yeah, I probably got her now. I married her though. So she can get whatever she
I ain't getting into that one.
Oh, that's okay. Hey, some of y'all, some brothers' wives do it too. That's why you in the doghouse. You're gonna be bunking on Mr. Couch.
We ain't got no dog house. I don't know what
Hey, mess around it.
I don't have no
Yeah,
dog.
yeah. Some of
That's
these,
why we
hey,
don't buy
I
no
ain't
dog.
mad. Hey,
We
do
ain't
what
finna
you
have no dog and we ain't finna have no house.
Yeah.
I'm a grown man, Doc. I'm a grown man.
Hey.
You grown
But
man.
guess what? Every man's management system in terms of their family and their interactions with women are different.
They all different, yeah.
They are different.
Yes, they are.
Some brothers, they consider it a sin to tell their lady no. They consider it a sin if they don't give their lady all their money and let her do whatever she wants to do.
I don't know nothing about that.
Oh, this brother, because she won't even want him if he ain't got no money.
Lord have mercy. Our time, we 5 minutes over our time. Good conversation. We got to come back to it. We're going to come back to it. Thank y'all for coming and being a part tonight. It is a true fact about sex is very heavy among the men and women, and it's what we can get out of it. Is marriage is at a prostitution level. What is sex to a man? Sex to a man is now not the family anymore. Almost, it's almost pleasure. Let's just put it like that. But we're gonna come back to this topic and deal with it more on an intense level. We just broke the ice on it. We're gonna come back to it on a more intense level, and we're going to deal with it. What sex is to a man, and then not just this show is not for talk about what we're not getting. Because Lord knows we ain't got to look for no woman or any woman nowadays pouring themselves on the man. But anything they can get and what they can get and how they can get it. They definitely is working it like that. So listen, we're going to see you guys the next round. You guys be nice. See you next Monday night. Tomorrow night, Women's Round Table. 8 o'clock. Be there. Good show. Private violence. All right. We'll get to it next time.